Saturday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business and let's wake up those football gods here on this Saturday morning. Happy Memorial Weekend to all of you. Although it doesn't really feel like Memorial Weekend. It's rainy and about 53 degrees, but you know, as much as we think about this as the kickoff of summer and barbecue and everything else, it's really not what it's about. What it's really about is remembering those who are no longer with us. I'll be definitely having a lot of thoughts about my brother who's no longer here with us after losing him last year. So remember those who are gone. With that being said, it's time to stir some stuff up a little bit here. It's been kind of crazy. You know, you feel like the world's been turned upside down on its head. And for the first time, since my YouTube channels have really kind of taken off, that the Washington football fans have become the cockroaches. You know, when the first year that it was really doing well was 2016. You know, Dak Prescott and, coming around, placing Tony Romo. The Giants, they ended up beating the Cowboys twice that season. And they ended up, just riding me all off season because it was funny because you had guys like Chris Sims that were saying that the Giants, they're a Super Bowl favorite. They're a great team and everything else. One of the best teams in the NFC. And those Giant fans were merciless. Yeah, we kicked your ass twice this year, man. We're coming for you next year, man. We are Super Bowl favorites. And then they lost to us, first game of the season, and they proceeded to, like the cicadas, go underground. I think they're still underground because they still stink. They pop up from time to time and talk about Danny Dollar Store or Danny Payday Loan because he's a broke ass. But for the most part, they're not around like they used to be. Then it became the Eagles' turn. The Eagles came around, and congratulations to them because they finally got that first Super Bowl trophy, and I can't wait to get this one out of here to Philly D, okay? I just can't, I'm sick of seeing this Eagles green. Ugh, green. Hate green. And they were the same way. Although there's still a few of them that are there still, kind of like, a few of the cicadas at the end that show up late to the party when everybody else has already died and been swept away. But now it seems like it's the Washington turn. I had Washington people coming after me yesterday. It was just like a wave of cicadas from the guy mixing the paint. Take that shirt off. I'm not mixing paint for you with that shirt on. To a guy telling me, you don't have to wear that. They don't make you do that. To even the FedEx guy, I think he was throwing my package in the truck. He literally said, I don't know if I should deliver this here or not. And had I answered the door and he said that to me, I would have said, do you want to keep a job? How about that? I mean, I love my Cowboys, but I'm not going to lose my job. Trying to do some Washington team. Just not going to do that. And of course, like deja vu, we're hearing a lot of people that are saying, that Washington defense, if Ryan Fitzpatrick can play great, that team's great. They're going to go places. They talk about them, with that defense. And I'll say, wait a minute. I'm not going to say that they're not a really good defensive team. I'm not going to say that they're not actually a much better coach team, okay? Jay Gruden was more like the Dumb and Dumber brother of the two. And it's not like, John Gruden is raising any hell out there with the Raiders other than sucking up the cash at $10 million a year. But the Raiders ain't doing anything. They're not. I'm not going to say that they're not a better team than they were, but it's all relative. Because here's where we go. And I'm going to stir this shit up some. I'm going to stir this up some because all of a sudden, everybody's afraid of the big bad wolf, okay? The Washington football team. Oh, man, that defense of Washington, man. Oh, man. That man, you know what? They better than the 85 Bears. They great. And Chase Young is going to be a beast. I'm not going to dispute that. They got a great front seven. Not going to dispute that. But are they really that good? I just want to look at something here because they played good at times. And as, some of those famous people out there will tell you,
can take numbers and skew them any way we want. We often can take numbers and we'll fit them into the narrative that we want to try and paint. And I probably am guilty of this. Can take numbers and skew them any way we want. We often can take numbers and we'll fit them into the narrative that we want to try and paint.
Right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and show you things that are done. If you look at here, right here, we have team scoring defense. Okay. Team scoring defense. This is how many points an NFL team gave up per game on average. Okay. And the great thing about this is you can look at the last three or, home and away and things like that. So you can get a better feel for it. And you can also see where they were the year before. Now, if you look at Washington here, 2019, they gave up 27.2, which is, that was almost as bad as our Cowboys defense was, which is actually gives me hope. Because they went from 27.2 to 21.2. They dropped off 6 points a game. 6 points. That's huge. And so you look at that and say, hey, they were the sixth best team in scoring defense. Wow. You look at number one, Baltimore. You look at number two, the Rams. Look at number three, New Orleans. Number four, Miami. Number five, Pittsburgh ahead of them. So just to be clear, when we look at the NFC East, where we have 6 games for the Washington football team, do you think that division is the same as, say, Baltimore's, who had Pittsburgh, as well as the Browns? When you look at Baltimore only giving up 18.5, knowing that they had 2 games against Pittsburgh and 2 games against the Browns, that's really impressive. I'll dare say when you look at the Rams giving up 19.3, knowing they have to play Russell Wilson twice, knowing that they have to play Kyler Murray, San Francisco was ass. But still, to give up only 19.3 points in their division, that's a defense right there. That's a defense. That's amazing to me, quite frankly. New Orleans, of course, having to play against Tampa Bay twice. The Atlanta Falcons that do score a lot of points. And the Carolina Panthers that really don't. To give up 20.9. And then we get to Washington, and they have to play against those 6 games, against those juggernauts of the Cowboys without Dak Prescott, Danny Dollar Store, and a Carson Wentz that got shipped out of town. So when you look at those teams that are ahead of them, and you look at those teams that they face, and the fact that you gave up 3 more points than, say, Baltimore, it's not quite as impressive. It's great. But you think about just how good those divisions were collectively to a division that a 7-9 team won. Okay. All right. Let's go through the schedule. Right? The schedule, Washington played the Eagles, the Cardinals, the Browns, the Ravens, the Rams, the Giants, Cowboys, Giants, Lions, Bengals, Cowboys, Steelers, 49ers, Seahawks, Panthers, Eagles, and then the Buccaneers in the playoffs. And again, they gave up 21.2 points a game. Now, for the sake of argument, if you go through and take the rankings of each one of those teams' offense, the Eagles were 26th, the Cardinals were 13th, the Browns 14th, Ravens 7th, Rams 22nd, Giants 31, Cowboys 17, Lions 20, Bengals 29th, Steelers 12th, 49ers 21, Seahawks 8, Panthers 24, Eagles 26. They only faced two offenses in the top 10, the Ravens and the Seahawks. Only two. If you take the average ranking of the offenses that they faced, it's 19.87. We'll round it off to 20. So each week, the team that they faced offensively on average was like the 20th best. Okay. And I'm actually mystified that the Cowboys offense actually ranked out at 17. But I guess that's because of all the numbers that Dak put up those first 5 games. Because I'm sitting here like, did you feel like the Cowboys were the 17th best offense in football after Dak went down? And mind you, we scored 3 points in our first game and 16 in our second. Be that as it may, let's just take the playoff teams, the Browns, the Ravens, the Rams, the Steelers, the Seahawks, and the Bucks. Now we're talking about a great defense. This defense that they're touting that's like, oh man, this is a smothering defense. They gave up 34 points to the Browns, 31 to the Ravens, 30 to the Rams. Now they did hold the Steelers to 17, the Seahawks to 20, but then in the playoffs against the Bucks, 31. So against playoff teams, they gave up 27.16 points per game. Truth of the matter is, they really feasted on bad teams. Like I said, they only gave up 3 points to our Cowboys the first game, 16 the second time. The Bengals, they gave up 9 points to because, well, Joe Burrow didn't even play in that one. The 49ers, on a third or fourth string quarterback, they gave up 15. And, of course, the Eagles, 17 and 14 on the Eagles. They feasted on bad offenses. I ain't going to lie on that one. But when it came to playing good teams with offenses, yeah, they gave up 30 points 6 times last year. 6 games they gave up 30 points. So I'm going to go back to my original question. Are the Washington football team's defense someone to fear? Well, you fear Chase Young taking out your quarterback. But I'm not going to go on record and think that the Washington football team is a smothering defense that is just to be feared. Because I look at my offense, which could be the best offense in football, that'll be going against a defense that is one of the top ones. But I'm not going to say that they're going to be the best. And when you start replacing teams like, say, the Bengals with, say, the Bills, or a destroyed 49er team with Green Bay, when you start playing the Kansas Cities and the Tampa Bays, some of the better teams that can put up numbers, we're going to find out if the Washington football team's defense is all that in a ham sandwich. I'm betting they're not going to look quite as good. Now, I'll be expecting a whole lot of hate here because, of course, that's what you do. But I just want to put the information out there. You decide whether or not you think the Washington football team is, the best defense in football and that the Washington football team is a great football team. I'll still say they won the division on a year that it took everybody else being terrible, and that their defense looked good against putrid offenses. Just did. So with that being said, I look forward to all the hate. I'm Mark Holmes, and you know the deal.
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is